Top of the morning, family. Top of the morning. Y'all know who it is, the Baker Man. We fresh up. We got our coffee. Shout out to all them good brothers out there. Hey, we got more reactions. I think it's important that we learn about the history of a lot of these European countries because it's going to play a big role in terms of you becoming aware of, you know, how deep into evil and a lot of these things, a lot of these other countries are into. And we're going to start doing that. But we're going to start by reacting off this right here, Jullian Dorey clips, where he talks about the era when Spain was in somewhat of a golden age. But let's check it out.
A little did they know, though, that what they found ended up being an even bigger jackpot than the Spice Islands of Asia. And then this leads to the golden era of Spain. Spain was the most powerful country in Europe by far after this for at least 200 years.
But let's go back to the beginning of this whole thing, because let's look at Europe before they even go over there.
Yeah.
So the conquistadors obviously were being sent by, the royal family in Spain to go do their exploring. We know that at the time, England had power over there, France had power over there, and the fucking Vatican over there as well. In Italy and
also the Moors, the Muslims were just getting expelled at that point from Spain. So this is all happening. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's another big group too.
Meaning, there's a lot of different power structures there. What compelled Spain to kind of win this race at the beginning and, be the people that were trying to land on the moon for that era, if you will?
Good question. So Columbus, first of all, the Crusades, round 2, I believe, had just happened. And Queen Isabella is like in the middle of expelling the last part of the Moors from like Granada. And so Spain, the way...
Just so we don't let that slide by, this is at a time where this is the end of the Moorish reign. So the Moors were getting pushed out at this time when Spain was in their golden age. A lot of these countries didn't hit their golden age until they pushed Moors out, which were the Muslims, which were black. They were black, but you know what, it is what it is. But yeah, just so we have clearance on that.
We think of it now and then even is actually relatively new. This new kingdom that has expelled this the Islam basically from the area. Columbus starts hearing, and Columbus and others, they supposedly start hearing rumors of strange objects that are drifting up on the shore and some of the islands out there that have carvings. There was even stories that bodies were drifting up on shores that looked different than other bodies. I don't know how much I'd believe that. You'd think that would decompose, but this is all what they're writing. Right. And he goes to Portugal first. He actually went to Portugal first and told them like, hey, I'm pretty sure that if we go west, we're going to find Asia. And so...
Who's in charge in Portugal?
I can't remember his name, but they decline it. But also at the same time... Oh, what's the guy's name? The guy that Portugal was more concerned about going around Africa. And at the time, Da Gama, is that his name?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, he is making a lot of progress going around Africa to get to the Spice Islands out near India. And so once Columbus gets denied by Portugal, he goes to the crown in Spain. And they're very interested because Portugal's already...
Real quick, couldn't help but notice that. So back in that time, India was popular for being a little island, I guess, or whatever, for having spices. So we joke around over here in the States, and when there's large portions, especially up north in the city, where there's a lot of Indians, usually people say it smells like a bunch of spices and stuff down there. That's because that's in their culture, that's in their heritage. A lot of spices and stuff like that come from India. So that's just interesting to know right there.
Already solidified their route. Yeah. around Africa.
Vasco da Gama is who you're talking
Vasco
about.
da Gama.
Got it. Yep.
And so Portugal's already solidified that route. And so if Spain wants to compete, they got to go do a little bit of a gamble west, because Columbus is saying, if we go west, I'm pretty sure we're going to find Asia, and it'll be a direct route. We won't even have to go around Africa. A little did they know, though, that what they found ended up being an even bigger jackpot than the Spice Islands of Asia. And then this leads to the golden era of Spain. Spain was the most powerful country in Europe by far after this for at least 200 years. Actually really long into the late 1700s. They start going to war with Britain. And I don't know a whole lot about that topic at the end there. That's something I want to dive into, is that golden era of Spain.
Yeah.
But wealth beyond measure. The crown gets their royal fifth with everything that these guys are taking.
And look at how many lands today in the Americas still speak Spanish, despite everything that happened afterwards. Steve, would you be able to pull up, this has got to exist. We got to have something like this, but like a map, what the map of the world looked like to Spanish royal family in 1450.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I want to know like what they thought it looked like.
So at the time, they're even trying to fight for their own land, because there's still, the Moors are still in there. It depends on what I guess you call the Spanish family. So
whoa, that's what they thought the map was?
Oh, of the world. I thought you meant of Spain.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. What am I looking at there, Deef? Is that the world?
What's the year on
the
that?
Fremuro map is a map of the world. Yep, you nailed it. Made around 1450 by the Italian cartographer Fra Mauro, which is considered the greatest memorial of medieval cartography. It is a circular planisphere drawn on parchment and set in a wooden frame that measures over 2 by 2 meters, including Asia, the Indian Ocean, Africa, Europe, and the Atlantic. It is orientated with south at the top. The map is usually on display in Venice, Italy. Can we hit the picture of that?
I want that map.
That looks like a bastardized version of like Westeros and Essos, a little bit, right? Yeah. That's so cool. So that's what they thought it looked like. Yeah, look, there's Steve just zoomed in. Persia. Let's see some other places.
I love how they would label stuff on the maps back then.
Asia.
So cool.
Yeah, they were a little backwards on this. That's crazy. So think about, just from a technology perspective, think about how the literal shaping of the world changed overnight when they found this stuff.
I just was thinking too, I just saw a map recently where it shows the lines where true north, there's only certain places on the earth due to I don't understand this, but due to the way the earth is shaped and the way that gravity works, there's only certain lines on earth where true north actually comes up on a compass. And they had to know all that when they were voyaging. These guys were smart. Columbus at one point, when he was, I think, northeast of Venezuela, wrote to the king and thought that he was sailing on what he called a bulge in the ocean. Like, imagine the ocean is flat and there's just this moment where the ocean on this, turns into a bulge. He thought he found a gravitational anomaly. And all of his compasses multiple times throughout his trips, first voyage, second voyage, and I think fourth voyage, where his compass just starts going haywire for like several days and he doesn't really know how to explain it. And they were kind of sailing blind. So yeah, these guys were smart. They had to use the stars. They didn't have GPS. They had their own internalized version of it. But
bro, when you like visit a city you haven't been to before, and your service gets a little off, and your fucking Google map is off by one street, and your little like blue circles floating. Yeah. You get so pissed. Well, if you're me, you get so pissed off and you're like, fuck, come on. Yeah. These guys would have like all form of any type of old ass school, geographic data go wrong in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, or an ocean they maybe don't even know what it is. Yeah. They'd be like, well, we're going to figure it out. Yeah. Like the patience. And I that is the most amazing thing about history, the things these guys in life and death situations figured out over not like an instant, like, oh my God, we got to make a decision, but over months. They'd have to like make a decision and hope 3 months later it was going to work out. And if it didn't, start the clock again. And maybe now it's 6 months for them to fix it. It's insane.
These guys were bold. And a lot of people don't like when I say that they were brave or bold, but those words don't have to mean, you know, something virtuous necessarily.
They don't like when you state a fact.
It's just absolutely true. There's no denying that these guys were extremely brave and bold. Yeah. So, you know, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be able to muster up the courage, the cojones to go and do that, you know.
But that's so interesting that like
this guy kind of resembles Messi. I don't know. I just was random. Sorry about that. I had to say that guy looks like Messi. But back to what we said.
Spain was that much more powerful than other places for a while there, like during that golden era, to where, you know, we just kind of like skip over that in our heads sometimes, even though it's literally what created our civilization over here. Thank you guys for watching the episode.
All right. So that was interesting. You feel me? A little history on Spain. You want to do more history, you go do your due diligence and go do your research. But it's just very interesting when we start learning about a lot of these countries and whatnot, and just where their mindsets were at these particular times when Moors were getting pushed out, when, you know, like I don't say jump into the rabbit holes, but just, you know, just to become aware of the mindsets of a lot of these other countries during this time. It's interesting, but we got more reactions coming next, y'all. If y'all want to go check out the rest of Jullian's podcast, you already know, go check him out. I got him reacting off his video, so you guys know what time it is. Yeah, we got more reactions coming up soon, y'all. It's crazy out here. It's good to be aware. Don't fall in the rabbit holes. If you're gonna go in the rabbit holes, seek real truth. Don't seek comfort. Seek truth, because you will be stuck in those mentally. But y'all get them in the chat. Let me know what y'all think, man. Anything else y'all think I should react on? Leave it in the comments. Until next time, it's your good brother, the Baker Man, man. Salute.